Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is 10:58 p.m. Friday, October 27th, 2017. Doing a Friday night dev stream. Let's do some programming. I was super tired during the earlier stream today. Not sure what's going on there. Probably just the weather. Hey, KYIML. All right, let's put on some music. How are you guys so on time? Let's see here. The Stranger Things soundtrack. Interesting. Okay, let me post on Twitter, let everyone know. Thank you. Oops. Okay. Let's check out from Perforce. Okay, now, so a few things I want to work on today. Bless me. Jeez. I don't know why, but every time I stream, I sneeze. I don't sneeze when I'm not streaming. Okay, so here we've got this, let's see, what's the problem? Okay, so let's see, he says he's fixed. However, the fix requires a mesh group to be alongside the solid state collider. The group is added automatically to existing solid state controls. However, this means that any child objects that should not have the solid state material should not be a child of the solid state collider. Controller. Okay. Let me take a look at this. Good evening, Jeden. Good evening, Whammy Bar. I was at the gym earlier tonight. Friday night, gym is completely empty. There's me and there's one other guy that goes. We always give each other the nod, you know, like we don't talk much, but you know, we're both there on a Friday night. Actually, one time, so there's this I go to this gym. It's a really cool gym. It's a trainer gym, so there's no they don't have any staff. Like everybody that works, it's mostly for personal trainers to bring their clients there. I think they pay like a fee to use the gym. So when you go, the gym itself doesn't have any staff. It's just like all these personal trainers working with their clients, and I think they have shifts to like clean up on different days of the week. It's really cool. I really like it. So I have 24-hour access, and some of these trainers, some of them are organizing like group classes, and there's one on Monday, Thursday nights, which is like 30 people. And they're playing a lot of music. So there's one guy, my Friday evening gym partner. you know, you just give each other the nod, and he's like, this is a good time. He's like, yeah, unlike Monday, because they're fucking annoying. Okay, so let's look at this thing here. Oh, what is this? So I think he might have not taken into account solid state controller. Yeah, I think he's okay, let's look at what exactly did Arthur write? So fictional cards of mesh group to be alongside the solid state controller. The group is added automatically to existing solid state controllers. You know what? I think he fixed it, but not quite. Let's see, what exactly did he do? Take a look at this. History. Arthur, Wolcrum, solid state FX fish mesh improvements. You submitted changes, so solid state controller. Oops. Level stuff, solid state controller, solid state controller. So let's see, let's compare the differences. Let's compare the differences. Diff against 1 second. Diff against previous revision. Okay, so this is 4.3, so update mesh group, mesh group, mesh group. If he doesn't get a mesh group, it returns and makes a mesh group. So this is automatically creating a mesh group. Okay, so it does, it adds a mesh group automatically. Now the problem is, I think it needs to find, it needs to put a mesh group on the mesh collide. The problem right now is that it's placing this here, which is not what I want. Or do we just separate out the ghost stairs? Hold on, let me see if I can just get rid of... Well, I guess if I can just get rid of these, and then you have the mesh combo. Now if these ghost stairs are deleted, then... Oh, fuck. No, you know what? It's, yeah, it fucks up the ghost stairs. Ah, pardon my French. When I was going through the financials, your game, how many % does Arthur get? 0. But that is because I pay him an hourly rate. Yeah, I'm paying him a pretty decent hourly rate, so he's not doing revenue share. It's actually quite tricky to do revenue share, especially like kind of this late on a project. Honestly, it's just so much easier to Yeah, fuck, that's broken. So I'm not opposed to it, but you know, I would say don't do revenue share unless you absolutely have to. I do own 100%. Yes.
Je ne sais plus à quoi penser. C'est dur d'être libre comme toi. Et je ne sais plus à qui penser. C'est fini leur arbitraire. Et deux par deux, on avale nos mots.
If. Big if. You have to understand, Undertale is like, if you have to understand, yeah, Undertale is that's a huge exception. Most likely, like I said, you know, a good outcome for me is 40,000 units, which leads me to kind of basically back pay myself like 50,000 a year for 5 years, which, you know, I would take that to be not a complete financial disaster, and I would be happy. I mean, I'd have to be happy either way, right? It's not like, but I think for me, 40,000, that feels doable when I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic. You know, for me, it's like 40,000 is success. Anything above that is just bonus, and I'll, you know, it'd be great, but I'm not thinking any of those numbers beyond that. Yeah, most of the discussion goes to contracts with others, so I mean, a lot of them are fairly straightforward, but it's but you always get something slightly different. Like you'll have somebody in Canada or somebody in Europe, and the laws are slightly different. But the key thing with, you know, with any of these contracts, especially if you're based in the U.S., is to make sure that copyright is transferred. And sometimes people will fight you on this. I've had, you know, I used to do these installation art, and I used to work with photographers, and they'd want to keep the copyright, or they say like that cannot be transferred. Now, you can't transfer copyright. You have to have that in writing. In the US, you have to state that the work is work for hire. Otherwise, whoever makes the work keeps the copyright, even though if they get paid. And the reason why you want to get the copyright is not because you're some like sleazy capitalist, is because it becomes a huge nightmare if later on you want to do stuff with it, right? Let's say somebody makes yeah, like, okay, an easy example is the game becomes huge, and then you get sued because they weren't compensated correctly, or you want to make like merchandise, and you have that, or, you know, I don't quite know what happened with Super Meat Boy, but I believe the new Nintendo version doesn't have the original soundtrack. I think there's some falling out with the musician there. Yeah. It's hard when you're starting out to negotiate contracts with other people. It's not really pleasant stuff, but now I wouldn't start working with that one. You know, it just gets you talking about all like the worst case scenarios. And I've had, not falling out, but, you know, with people we've gone our separate ways. Like we're still amicable, professionally and personally, but for the particular project that didn't work out. And yeah, I don't want the mesh group. So what's he? I think the way he implemented is not all that great here. I mean, and you know, it sounds like KYIML, you might think like, oh, well, I own 100%. That's not really that good, right? Because this means, I mean, this isn't anything about Arthur, right? But this is sort of in any case, if you just kind of pay someone up front, is they don't like, they don't have any financial risk in the game, financial teeth, which is, sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want someone that's like, that's got a stake. But that's hard to find when I'm this far along. Oops, this is wrong. Cause so how did they do it before? If renders revised to the initial state, so it would enable multiple colliders, but the mesh render. So what exactly is the mesh render part doing? So the mesh curve. Let's take a look at this. So yeah, most of my lawyer discussions go towards contract with others. There's been a few instances where I've kind of got into kind of like tricky situations. Nothing major, but you know, like the previous name when the game used to be called Relativity, and there was a situation I wanted to sort of get an understanding of like what the deal with that was. There's some of that, or you know, like so there's also kind of tricky things like I'm because I'm streaming and sharing development openly, and people make suggestions, and so like if they give me an asset, well, you know, I can't really put that in the game, right? Because we don't have the contract in place. So I don't know if you own the lead copyright. Like it sounds, it's really tricky because you're making something that's like based on something I made, and then if I improve on that, you know, like how does that work? Right? And that's like a copyright thing. So like recently I asked my lawyer a question about that, and he was like, oh, I need a lot of time to answer this. And I was like, forget it. Because that, you know, then we have like a set rate for contracts. But he bills me hourly for these kinds of questions. And if he's like, this is going to take me some time. I'm like, oh, you know, we'll just do something else. Like, you always kind of have to weigh that. It's not like you don't always do the most expensive legal option. That's the interesting thing with law. It's like, it's not that there is a right way or a wrong way. It's that there are some ways that like maybe cover more, and then you kind of risk it with like how, if that's actually going to be an issue. But I would say it's good to I'm much happier with I'm much happier with the name Manifold Garden. Like, Relativity has so many problems, SEO, and like another game came up with, like, if the name you come up with for your game, you came up with it in 10 minutes, you probably want to change it, you know, because that means like other people are going to come up with that same name. So, and people will tell you not to change it. People will, you'll get a lot of resistance. People don't like it when you change things. Love how that looks. So let's look at level build prep. We have Yeah, and there's like a million things called relativity. There are relativity films. There's like a law. Actually, if you talk to lawyers, they all know this program called relativity. It's like it's for looking up some database. So what the hell do we do with, what exactly do we do? I think the key is that the mesh groups need to be set. KYML by structureofrain.com. You know what? I'm so happy. My favorite part is that so many games will have like you can still go to this. It's relativitygame.com. Wait, let me see. Oh yeah. Here we go. Like relativitygame.com. Just says this is the manifold.com. You have to rant for just a moment. Sure. Go for it. So we have our mesh group here. All right, let me focus here for a second. Mesh group. No. All the mesh groups under, for each mesh group, set up the correct material. Oh, then move it to be under gameplay root. Don't replace material instance. I did not know about it until I knew. Oh yeah, you know that actually happened before though. So to John Gaines' point, John's talking about chat and interaction with the streamer, and that actually happened to me. And I started streaming like 2 years ago, and at first it was just like, well, nobody was watching at first, but kind of like you got like 2 people, 3, and I think at some point I wasn't very careful with selecting mods, and the chat sort of devolved into, it kind of started off as like sarcasm, but it's really hard to read that in text. And I remember one time I came on and I think I said I just made some joke about something. Oh yeah, I think there was some article about Snapchat. It was about how like an intern at Snapchat makes like 100,000 a month or something ridiculous. And I think and the chat was like, shut the fuck up and get back to work. And this was, I was kind of like streaming in the evening, so it was kind of at the end of a long day, and that just really bummed me out. And I a lot of other devs were talking about, like community management. I used to think that stuff was really silly, but it really, how you like choose to filter that stuff out has a huge impact on the overall vibe. And so I changed like my channel names a few times, so I ended up shutting that one down and starting up again, and like took off all the mods together. You know, some were great, some weren't, but just kind of, and just started up again and was really careful about kind of cultivating the like the vibe you want, because yeah, what you see happens is like that kind of behavior compounds, right? Because, you know, like you said, you go there and you don't really like that behavior, so you leave. That means the people who stay like that behavior, and then it kind of adds to it more. So that's been and I think Twitch has also done a pretty good job with filtering. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be like too many trolls or anything. But yeah, it's a self-fueling fire. So anyway, all the mods are great. Jet gets a little bit intense about programming at times, but all in all, we have great mods here. We get all the, because that makes it, you know, I enjoy coming in, right? I don't, yeah, like you said, the like antagonistic thing. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, fortunately, we've not had to ban a lot of people. I think it's been like less than 10. I think it comes into any web community where that just sort of happens, right? I think it happens on a much bigger scale on games. Set up mesh group. So mesh group G, get all the children PB objects. If you had your render is G dot get components and children. Okay, so he sets up the mesh group, I think. Okay, so what does he do with the solid state ghost? Okay, so if he's in a ghost layer, okay, so in the ghost layer they should not be stripping. Okay, so what is happening here is it's getting caught up in I feel like what we should be adding is the okay, let me play and see what oh yeah. Oh wait, you stream too? Okay, let's see what the deal here is. So yeah, okay, so that's all off. Now when I put these on, that should turn on. But yeah, I don't want, oh no. Oh, huh. Interesting, because it doesn't where is this? Oh, what? Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding. What is solid state? Okay, so let's look at that. So combined, yeah, so see what it does is it puts it in default. When I let me see if it's ghost. I bet it's not. I won't. Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do. You can actually see here. These are all the entire scene's got 10 renders, 11. Some of the smaller ones a little bit more, but we actually combine everything. We have for the aside from like the small gameplay objects, there's 4. Okay, so let me fix up. Okay, so what he's got to do. Okay. What we need to do is separate out. So that's got the mesh collider, and this has solid state. Oh wait, I forgot to post on Discord. I'm streaming. Now streaming. So I think my roommate got Mario Odyssey and has been un moment. Check out the... Yeah. My god, why am I sneezing so much? Okay, so we're gonna leave the solid state object. Now the only problem is, yeah, you have to... I have to manually... Remarks... need to manually remove... We're listening to this French-Canadian singer, Que de Pirate. Hey! Primaris, thank you for the sub. 15 months in a row, wow, thank you so much. Yes, it has been the most useful thing, like, it's changed. I think XML comments actually was from Primaris that introduced it to me. It just completely changed the way I code. Like, some people think I've gone overboard. Like the only problem that's the only legit problem someone pointed out is like when you update your code and you don't update the comments, it gets kind of bad. But I don't know. There's like the pros far outweigh the cons. So like for example here, you know, you need to manually remove ghost colliders from here. Well, like, this is just kind of gets tricky, right? Like, we're not, I can't, like, I don't really have a good way to separate the ghost colliders right now because there's all these other systems in place. It's like, there's, like, in order for me to write this clean solution, I'd have to be, like, making changes across 2-3 systems. So it's better to kind of set up this weird thing, but now I just need to remember to do that, and I feel like sometimes programmers get so caught up in writing like the most efficient code when oftentimes it's really more a balance of like clean code versus how practical it is to implement and just like seeing the results. You know, like, yeah, in an ideal world, we don't have the most efficient code, but sometimes you gotta kind of half-hack it. Oh man, how is it? How's it been? Were you at the last Unite Austin? So like one thing I might do is like when you, okay, so this is something that I can probably do in the code, which is you go through every object that's got a solid state controller, you look for any of the objects that are in the ghost layer, and then just move them out of solid state object and into this. So this is probably something I will put inside the code so I don't have to do it by hand. For a while, I don't know why I don't have random people coming in. I think like I was relying early on. That ablaze! I was wondering where you've been. I think it's because I haven't been doing late night streams. It's not an escalator, but what was I saying? I got distracted. Were you at Austin as well? Okay, so the solid state object update all the choke letters in order to solid. Let's take a look at what was this last change. Solid state object. No, it's Arthur made some changes to the to fix it, but then he kind of like missed something, so I'm trying to okay, I want to show you guys something, and I don't. If anyone can just explain to me, like, look at this. Look at how long it takes. I'm gonna start typing. Look at my hands. This is how long it takes for the letters to show up here. It's driving me crazy. So basically what's going on is we have a process. So you can see right now when I'm working level design, everything's all these separate box colliders. Now in the game, what we do is we actually, when I hit play, we combine them and merge them into bigger meshes. It's actually anytime I use a search thing. But so what we do is we actually load all the levels at the origin. This is the origin. And what we do is we put them in different render layers so that you don't see two levels at the same place, right? So two adjacent levels, they'll be in different render layers. We got 4 of them: render layer 0, render layer 1, render layer 2, render layer 3. We swap between them. Now what happens is once the floor gets put in default and we have like ghost, but it's not for kind of new objects. If you're not careful, they get it'll get put inside the render layer, one of the visual render layers, which like the water does not detect the collision for that. So it's you got your collision layer, but you have layers in game in Manifold Garden in Unity, and we're using some of them for purely visual, and we're using some of them for collision. But you can only assign one render layer. You can only assign one layer to each object. So that means what we actually need to do is we need to separate out the collider and the render, put the render in one layer and the collider in another. And so Arthur like made that fix, but he kind of like forgot about the ghost layers which we have on here, which we don't want to see. But that was working before, so I'm just kind of like looking back at the previous system and trying to see how that worked. It's probably just because I have like a bajillion assets. So you've been not the man. It's been a while. The job thing. So wait, did you? Oh, holy shit! You said you did quit. Oh wow. Yeah, I know you said you've been because I think last time you were here was, geez, I want to say like 6 months ago. So how you holding up? Oh, so you got a new job, which also sucks. I think you gotta stick around a little longer, otherwise, in the future, everybody's like, Okay, yeah, that's. You guys met at Unite LA? So yeah, we're getting pretty close to shipping. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yes. I fixed it. Yes, 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 yes. I have been to Game Nest several times.
On ne vit pas au large mais bien pris, sans charge des distances, nous amants séparés par des docks hantés au barclave, marées qui nous tiennent au bord des sentiments. Mais j'arrive, qui est celle qui t'attend, ne t'attend plus jamais, ou s'efface un sentence pour ce diamant que j'ai. Si je dois moi-même tendre la carte d'une dévouée. Personne l'emprise que tu as sur moi, sur mon souffle qui reste saccadé. Des courses contre le vent qui ne compte plus maintenant qu'on s'y
Which I still have yet to implement, but we will. I think I might make implementing mech just like it's gonna be like a post-launch patch. It's gonna be patch number 1, aka Data Blaze. And it's like finally added Finally found the time. On validate, huh? Yeah, like comment. So if meshgroup.com. Now this is the solid state. If and solid state object doesn't equal to null. So you know, let's just like let's add. Well, the thing is, I'm not doing as much of the architecture, right? Like Arthur handles all that, so he's written some like crazy. He's written a bunch of crazy things like where I'll talk to him about it. Like he's honestly the one in charge of kind of these big things. I've got so for those of you who haven't been in the stream for a while, mainly Primarist and mainly Primarist and Data Blaze. I talk about where the game is at now. We've made a lot of changes. KY, you've been here the last few days. I remember you from last few days. So you can see we don't really have that many bugs anymore. I mean, a lot of the like major game-breaking things are gone. So I'd say like tech, we're like 99% there. You know, fixing bugs and just smoothing things out, playing the game over and over again and catching things. I had a big discussion a few streams ago about kind of the design challenges, design problems that I'm facing in Manifold Garden, which is a lot of stuff with pacing and a lot of stuff with hey, thank you for the subscription. So stuff with pacing, player motivation. I don't know if there's a really funny quote that I included, which is like, there's no story, no objective, no motivation, what's the point? And it's not that there's nothing there is a narrative, and I think as I continue to work on it, it's become much clearer. Right? The game is about you're a prophet preparing the world to bring forth these divine beings, but it's just not communicated super well, and that's been sort of the work for the kind of design phases. And we're also like just cleaning up the visuals. So we got these new art style. This is like a demo room. I don't know if you saw the bloom. It's been huge, just lovely. I'm super happy with bloom. Had a big impact on the style. Oh, come on. And this, we got like, these are the water detectors, so they're no longer just kind of this flat thing. It still needs work. It is. Arthur's done it fairly cheaply. You know, because it's not an actual light though. It's just a post processing, right? So it's the cheapest option that we have.
Je crois bien que je suis seule à t'aimer. Tes lèvres brûlent tant de mille mensonges que tu ne prends plus la peine de raconter.
I really want to bring the game to. I really want to do Switch, but my understanding is Switch is kind of. Marketing. I need to do a devlog. I need to do a development update video this weekend. It's been too long since the last one. I also need to send out to the mailing list. We got a few people have been talking to me about helping out with the final round of funding and publishing, which has been really nice. So just like people in the industry, it's awesome that other devs want to help. Yeah, I don't know if you guys. I'll show you guys some of the. Oh, so I'm gonna start mining vert coins. Not just that. I mean, it's publishers do more than just marketing. It's like just helping with platforms, and it's. I'm in kind of a weird spot because it almost gets kind of too late. Oh yeah, dude, the freaking wallet takes like. I've been synchronizing my wallet for the last 5 hours. I gotta start planning for my future in case this game flops. Which could very well do. So I'm putting all my faith in Vertcoin. I've been thinking about actually turning Manifold Garden such that playing Manifold Garden actually mines Manifold Garden coins. Here's the thing. So I'm actually creating my own cryptocurrency. It's like Cheer Coin or Manifold Garden Coin. Right? So I need something catchy. Probably Manifold Coin. I don't know if I want my name in it. But it you have to buy the game in order to mine the coins. So that way I get I'm making the US dollars and my new limited currency. So Cheer Coin. Manifold Garden is really a Cheer Coin miner. But Swiftflux, how's it going? How is TwitchCon? Have you recovered? I've asked you that already. Oh yeah, here's some of the new stuff. This is the stuff that kills the frame rate. Actually, Arthur's improved a whole bunch of stuff. So that's my new marketing. I think that it make for a great GDC talk. It's like, okay, here's the deal. You can't make money in games anymore. Games is just a channel to your How do I don't know anything about like I downloaded the Satoshi's paper and I'm trying to start reading that, but I have no idea what Ethereum or I know Ethereum's like another crypto, but when you say like can you just duplicate it like whatever their thing is? Because I do think it's funny, like if you solve puzzles, that's like helping to mine. Ah, okay. I just gotta somehow hook it into Unity. Unobtainium. Manifold Gardenium. Alright, so let's see. What we need to do here right now is in the level build. So level build prep is our script that goes through the level and prepares it. Create duplicate scene. So create copy of the light system, create a new level. So start moving references now. Make new level system object. Okay, where does we start doing this? Generate, fuck. Create all the meshes. Where is this done? Level build prep. So this is in the script. Prepare level for build. No, the reference is, oh yeah, so see, this is where when you hit play in the game is playing or will change play mode, we actually run this script. So prepare level for build. Prepare level for build. Generate optimized meshes for portal scene. Prepare level for build. Prepare a level for build. Prepare a level. Now, where do we? Okay, why do I duplicate? Create duplicates. Oh, right. So we create duplicate scene is called inside. Prepare level build. Okay, right. So first we create a duplicate of the original scene. Now uses old system. So all the mesh groups. So before we do the mesh group. So actually first what we want to do before we manipulate any mesh groups, first go through all solid state controllers and remove ghost objects from the solid state object from the and move ghost objects out of solid state object and set as children of solid state controller. It's your own. Basically give a lot of coins to the auction houses. You have to write a white paper and put up a website if you want to create a coin, and then make an initial coin offer. No, I'm gonna go for my own coin. This is really a marketing thing. I don't think any indie games have done it. Yeah, I really wanted to go. I had a good time at TwitchCon. I like it because it's so different than all the game conferences. Like, I love GDC, but I feel like with Twitch, I'm always like, I feel like I'm at it's just like something totally new. You're always learning, people using it in new ways. Wait, did The Witness? Are you serious? John Coin. I bet John has a lot of bitcoins. He seems like someone that really support bitcoins. I say that only because he's in the Bay Area. So, yeah, we have this really kind of like painted ourselves into a corner. Renders and colliders have to be on different. We have to be on different. we were actually just every puzzle was helping to mine Bitcoin. So yeah, I was just telling everyone because because we sort of do the open world, all the levels, we don't put them in different positions. So like initially I would have this level would be like 0, 0, 0, and then I like put another level here, and that would be at like 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, right? Like just far enough away that you can't see it. But the problem is you end up getting a lot of floating point errors. So what we do instead is we actually load every single level is at the origin, and we have, except the transition levels, we will put them a little bit outside, but you're not in them for very long. You don't do very much, so it's not a big problem. So what we do is, like, if the player is here, the player starts off here, and then you go here, and then when you're in here, the transition level, we load in the next level. And what we do is we put them all in different layers because we what do you call it? We time slice the loading and unloading, so it often takes it'll take like 30 frames to load in and 30 frames to unload. And it doesn't sort of start to unload until you've kind of moved away. So to prevent you seeing two levels loaded on top of each other, what we do is we put them in different render layers and just stagger it. So all the neighbor levels have to be in different render layers. And we try to do it by like your 2 levels away are different, but that gets a little bit tricky because I think there's some like Unity thing where your camera, in terms of render layers, you can only switch the camera between like 4 different visual render layers. Not really sure what the issue there is, but so anyway, we have that problem. But what this means is sometimes, so when we have and you can only put 1 layer on each. So for the geometry, what we do is we actually combine all the meshes into like a couple big ones, and then we put the renderers. Oh yeah, and so we want the renderers and the colliders loaded in differently. Like we want to put the colliders in first, because it's like, yeah, if you see stuff pop in, that's not too bad, but I don't want you falling through. I don't want you falling through the world. So what we do is we separate out. So the colliders and renders are different. They're under different game objects, and they're in different layers. The renders are in the visual render layers, and the colliders are in these other ones. But now sometimes if we have like small gameplay objects that got like different meshes inside, if you want them to be visual, you put them in the render layer, but then like the player walks through it, there's no detection. So what we need to do is everything actually has to, even the small gameplay projects, we have to filter out the collision and rendering parts and put them in different layers. It's actually like really fucking annoying, this whole thing. For water and cubes, we use a slightly different system because those objects are pooled. So so those don't matter because like we put in the render, but then the cube is from the collider is drawn from a pool, so the collider is actually separate, and we can have them in a different layer. But anyway, this is just like, I don't even know why you would use this system in any other game. It's just like if you're making a game that's open world, that has row wrapping, and you can carry objects from one area to another, and you have these weird meshes. Like, it's such a specific, like, I feel like I've painted myself in the corner. It's like such a specific corner, but I kind of feel like all games you end up in a position like this, and people are like, well, why don't you use this feature? And you're like, well, let's see here. So back to, so now what we are doing is we also have like the ghost colliders, and we're separating those out. Now those those don't have a render component. So what I want to do is go through all the, okay, go through all for each, oh fuck. Oh right, so first let's get all the so this is what solid state controllers, new level system, world root get component in render trailer. Now why do I want to, why is this including an active? Let's see, related artists. Noelle Leroy. I've not heard of her before. I'm listening to French indie pop on Spotify. I just got Spotify 2 days ago. Have you guys heard about this website? Spotify, it's amazing. You can listen to music for free. Yeah, friends also been telling me about Netflix. What is the difference? I just have the free version. What, I don't understand what the difference is. Are there supposed to be ads? Because I've not heard of anything. I'm joking. I feel like everybody and their mother have been on Spotify, and I've just not wanted to use it. You know what it was? It was because back then, when it first came out, it would post the songs you're listening to on Facebook, which was just the most annoying thing. It's like your entire feed would just be like every single song that somebody is. I'm like, I don't need to know which 10 songs you just listened to this past hour. I've not heard any ads. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's because I'm a new person or something. Okay, so we go through, we get all the, so let's get all the, oh man, Arthur's been so good with commenting. I was like, he's a much better programmer than I am, and I think like 2 months after he started, I was like, I need you to comment your code because I don't understand what your stuff is too advanced. Maybe. I think I'm, yeah. Hey, what's up, Rory Bell? Yeah, and then you leave and I have to spend the next 6 months going through your code. Okay, so see, he's got all the mesh groups, so now what we do is, okay, before we manipulate any mesh groups, first, get all solid state controls under one root. Okay, so now for each, you know what? I might make this I might actually make this its own command. But so for each bridge solid state controller. Put those objects that are children of. Okay, so. Oh, I know this song.
J'ai eu si mal au cœur sur la mer en furie. J'ai vomi mon 4 heures et mon minuit aussi. Je me suis cogné partout, j'ai dormi dans des draps mouillés. Ça m'a coûté des sous, c'est de la plaisance. C'est le pied.
We are not listening to Kino. Her name is.
C'est pas l'homme qui prend la mer, c'est la mer qui prend l'homme. Mais elle prend pas la femme qui préfère la campagne. La mienne m'attend pas au bout de la jetée. L'horizon est bien mort quand j'ai jeté la veille.
Assise sur une bite d'un marin, elle pleure son homme qui la quitte. La mer, c'est son malheur. Que le vent soufflera, je repartira. Mais que les vents tourneront, nous nous en allerons.
C'est pas l'homme qui prend la mer, c'est la mer qui prend l'homme. Moi la mer elle m'a pris comme on prend un taxi.
Now the problem is, how do I need to get all the ghosts.
Chaque étape,
Veulent bien me lâcher la grappe.
Get all the ghost objects. Huh, yeah, they do sound like French luminaires.
C'est pas l'homme qui prend la mer, c'est la mer qui prend l'homme. Moi la mer elle m'a pris et mon bateau aussi.
Components and children.
Navire, il est beau mon bateau. C'est un fameux trois-mâts fin comme un oiseau. Tabarly, Pajot, Kersozon et Riguidel naviguent pas sur les cajots ni sur les poubelles. Dès que le vent soufflera, je repartira. Dès que les vents tourneront, nous nous en allerons. C'est pas l'homme qui prend la mer, c'est la mer qui prend l'homme. Moi la mer elle m'a pris un vendredi.
Ne pleure plus ma mère. C'est ma vie. Ne pleure plus ma mère. Je suis au fil de l'eau. Regardez votre enfant. Il est parti marin. Je sais, c'est pas marrant. Mais c'était mon destin.
Dès que le vent soufflera, je repartira. Dès que les vents tourneront, nous nous en allerons. Dès que le vent soufflera, je repartira. Dès que les vents tourneront, nous nous en allerons. Dès que le vent soufflera, nous repartira. Dès que les vents tourneront, je m'en allerons.
Ton arrière-arrière-grand-père, il a défriché la terre.
So this is let's see, do solid state object to be chilled, solid state controller. Var colliders, what is this? Get components and children, does this, okay. Okay, so we move the ghost layer colliders to be child of solid state collider. If musique française. Québécoise, je pense. Okay, so we take the link there, into layer, ghost layer. Hello, Boehner Games, how's it going? Okay, so the child collider is I game object dot layer equals to layer mask name to layer ghost layer. Now what we do is child colliders dot transform dot parent equals what the fuck? Isn't that oh no. For each solid state controller, move ghost objects that are children of solid state object to be children of the solid state controller. Okay, now I think this is right. You know what? I actually kind of think this would be better to make it into a function. So let's put it down here amongst our bajillion functions. I guess it needs to be a static void, right? So static void. Move ghost colliders to children of solid state controller. And so summary is go through each solid state controller under world root, move ghost colliders under solid state controller dot solid state object to the children of solid state controller. And I would actually want game object dot now what is the low root up here? Hold on, let me just put in remarks. So so Boehner Games, what brings you to our corner of the internet?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Je veux pas le savoir, tu veux pas le savoir maintenant. Tout le monde le sait, ce que personne veut voir maintenant. Je veux pas le savoir, tu veux pas le savoir maintenant. Tout le monde le sait, que personne veut le voir pour l'instant. Je veux pas m'en faire, tu veux pas t'en faire maintenant. Tout le monde le sait, ce qu'il nous faudra faire maintenant. Je veux pas m'en faire, tu veux pas t'en faire maintenant. Tout le monde le sait, ce qu'il nous faudra faire, mais pour l'instant, on danse la danse du dili-dili-da.
Okay, KYIML. Kimmel? Let me know if I can pronounce it Kimmel.
Je veux
Himmel. Alright. That works for me. Okay, now let's just move this. So let's stage objects. K. Kai. Okay, let's move this now. What I want to do first is make sure, let's put these back into where they would have been. Okay, let's try this again. Oh.
Avec ma liste de maladies j'ai rencontré mon ami Jean Coutu. Je suis entré dans un garde-fou avec mon auto, je sais.
Alright. Okay, now let's hopefully this works. Oh, come on. Pum, 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 pum.
Un beau matin, je suis parti au loin, aller mener mon troupeau en Ontario. J'ai laissé ma femme en
Oh no. No. What? Hey, real ocelot. Come on. What's going on here? Why? Ah, I didn't actually do anything to it. Yes, there we go. I was just so tired earlier today, and so I took a nap, had some dinner, and then went to the gym, and now I'm kind of feeling energetic. So I wanted to. I had this one bug I wanted to fix anyway. So kind of easing back into programming. I've been this past week has mostly been going through this list of you can see here, you can see you got all these different tasks like buttons, laser controller, mirror, dark area tower. So we went through these are like all the different art assets in the game, went through almost all of them. Just the kind of mandala room is still needs to get done. Started working with some artists. So it's been good. It's definitely a new way of communicating that I'm not used to. You definitely have to talk to artists differently than you talk to programmers. Alright, let's get back to here. Yes. Okay, this looks like it's working, so I'm walking through. See, we're like playing with some new designs for blocks. Yes. Okay. Well, you know what? It is 12:30, and oh, it's been an hour and a half. Time flies when you're having a great stream. So I am going to push these. I'm gonna push these changes. Give you an idea about your cubes. I have some triangles and spheres that later you can combine into one. You mean the design of it, or actually there are spheres and cubes that I can combine? Forget what I want to do. Oh, right. I want to make sure to times fun. I need to get better at exporting my. I need to work on my YouTube channel. So I need to get better at like so far my YouTube channel is mostly, which like thing is they're not really fun to watch, right? Because it's just past streams. We had some. This was a fun indie dev finance discussion. Yeah, so like these are the streams. Like no, it's not like no people really watch them. They're so long. Well, but I should get better at exporting my videos. Alright guys, let's see who else is streaming. I'm gonna host their channel. And I just don't want to put in the time to like edit the videos after I stream. It's so much work to do that. Ezra is streaming. I'm gonna host Ezra, guys. Alright, I'll be back tomorrow. We got this solid state object working again. Yeah, by the way, you know, we've got a Discord channel, and feel free to kind of ping me if you have any more questions. I was rewatching it and I realized like I left like 5 minutes extra that didn't need to be there, and then also I kind of got the terms wrong a lot. Like I kind of mixed up expenses and opportunity cost, but I wasn't really preparing to talk. I hadn't really been planning to talk about finance. It just sort of came up, and I think it was an important issue, and you don't often see devs sort of doing something, just being that upfront about it. Yeah, I will. Here's actually, if you type finance, it's this video here. But yeah, feel free to join the Discord and ask me if you have any questions, and so I can answer them tomorrow. Right, hosting Ezra. I'm gonna push these changes, export this stream onto YouTube, and it's 12:35, so I am going to go to bed, get some sleep. We'll be. I've just got tomorrow set aside. Got some contract work for an artist I'm bringing on. Do more programming. Maybe even puzzle design. We'll get to work on the Mandela rooms. But yeah, I don't have anything planned for tomorrow except work. So very excited. All right, bye everyone. Have a great rest of the evening and have a great weekend. I will see you next time.